Hello, everybody. My name is Andre Brown, first year journalism major from Prince George's County, Maryland, and today I'll be talking to you guys about the nature of science and basic characteristics of life. Now, before I begin, some of you guys may be wondering, what is science? Science is the study and knowledge of the natural world, meaning we learn a lot about science through different tests, studies, and observations of natural objects. Science is a way we understand the world. When dealing with science, we use a lot of technology. And the scientific definition of technology is the practical application of scientific techniques and principles. Now, we learn a lot about science through a process called the scientific method. And this method is composed of four simple steps that I will be talking to you guys about right now. The first step of the scientific process is called observations. Observations are descriptions, measurements, and records of an experiment. Step 2 of the scientific method is called hypothesis. Hypothesis is an educated guess that seeks to explain observations of nature. Now, I'm about to say something very, very, very important about hypothesis that everybody needs to know. Everybody. Okay, so please pay attention, and I cannot stretch this enough. Okay? All hypotheses must be testable. I'm gonna say that one more time. All hypotheses must be testable. Because if your hypothesis isn't testable, your hypothesis is invalid and you will need to create a testable hypothesis. If you do not have a testable hypothesis, you don't have a hypothesis. Plain and simple. So please make sure your hypothesis is testable. Now, step 3 of the scientific method is predictions. Predictions is a guess of a future result. For example, if I say I'm going to get a 90 or above on my biology test, I just predicted that I'm going to get a 90% or above on my biology test. Another example can be if I say I'm going to be a homeowner by the age of 25. If I say I'm going to be a homeowner by the age of 25, I am predicting that I am going to be a homeowner by the age of 25. So I hope those examples gave you guys a better understanding of what a prediction is. And the last and final step of the scientific method is called testing. Now, in this step, you will find out if your hypothesis is incorrect or correct, or accurate or inaccurate. And what I mean by that is, for example, if I have a hypothesis that says pouring water into dirt will cause flowers to grow. Now, when I get to the testing method of my hypothesis, when I get to the testing step of the scientific method, I will pour water into the dirt and see what happens. Now, if I pour water into the dirt and flowers grow, my hypothesis is correct and accurate. But if I pour water into the dirt and nothing happens, my hypothesis is inaccurate and incorrect. So I hope those examples gave you a better understanding of the testing step of the scientific method. So in conclusion, the scientific method is the core logic of how science works. No matter what branch of science you are talking about, no matter if it's biology, chemistry, or astrology, at some point in time, you will use the scientific method. So when talking about science, please be familiar with the scientific method, because I can promise you it is going to come up when conducting an experiment or test. So it's very, very important to be familiar with the scientific method. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you guys about basic characteristics of life, starting with cells. Cells are the most basic and smallest units of life. Every human, every plant, and every animal is composed of cells. An average human is composed of about 10 trillion cells. And out of those 10 trillion cells, there are 220 different types of cells. And some type of cells are muscle cells, skin cells, and the cells I find the most important are called white blood cells. White blood cells are the cells that are responsible for fighting any disease or virus you have. So in this picture, you can see the white blood cells all attacking this disease. So whoever's body this is, they can hopefully be cured from the disease or virus and feel better again. So I felt like this is a good picture to show the purpose of white blood cells and why they're so important. So I hope you guys have a better understanding on white blood cells. Okay. Now, before I get on another topic besides cells, I want to tell you guys this. Cells are very, 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 very small, and it is impossible to look at with the human eye. The only way to look at a cell is through an advanced microscope. So if you have a microscope that is able to look at very, very small microscopic objects, most likely your microscope can see a cell. So I felt like that was a little fun fact some of you guys should know. So now I'm going to talk about reproduction. There are two types of reproduction. First, I am going to define reproduction. Reproduction is the ability to produce offspring. So there are two types of reproduction. The first type is sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is when a male sperm and female eggs fuse together to produce a single-celled organism called an offspring. Asexual reproduction is when a species is able to reproduce itself without using sperm or female eggs. So an example of asexual reproduction can be fungi or bacteria that just reproduces itself on its own without any type of sperm or eggs. So as you can see in this little comparison of asexual and sexual reproduction, you can see how sexual reproduction is just the same organism just reproducing itself. You see, starts as one and then it just reproduces. And in sexual reproduction, you can see how it starts off as with the male and female, and they just combine and make offspring. And that's how us humans we reproduce each other through sexual reproduction. Now, at the end of my presentation, I am going to give you guys a small quiz. My quiz is composed of 5 questions, 3 true or false questions, and 2 multiple choice. Each question I will be asking you guys, I have answered in my video. So if you were paying attention, you should have no problem with this quiz. Okay. Question number 1. Science is the study and knowledge of the natural world. True or false? I'm gonna give you 5 seconds to get an answer. Time's up, and the answer is true. Because like I said in the beginning of the video, science is the study and knowledge of the natural world. 2. Hypotheses aren't required to be tested. True or false? Give you some time. Time's up. False. Remember when I made it very, very clear that all hypotheses are required to be tested. Question number 3. Humans can see cells with their eyes. True or false? Time's up. If you chose if you chose the answer false, you are correct. Question number 4. How many types of reproductions are there? A, 5, B, 2, C, 10, or D, 1? If you chose letter B, you are correct because there are 2 reproduction types, asexual and sexual reproduction. Question number 5. How many cells make up an average human? A, 5 billion, B, 1 million, C, 1 trillion, or D, 10 trillion? If you chose letter D, you are correct. And that is it for my presentation. I hope you guys have a better understanding on the scientific method, what cells are, what cells make up, and I hope you guys have a better understanding of reproduction. Again, my name is Andre Brown, first year journalism major, and that's my video. Thank you.